Toxic positivity is like you're just straight up ignoring the bad in your life and just acting like everything's all good. Optimism is you recognizing that maybe things are shitty or you're going through a negative situation, but you're like, all right, it's okay. Like, I'm gonna get through this thing, and there's gonna be a brighter future and everything. Like, you're still acknowledging the feeling.
Hello.
What's up?
Hello.
Hi.
Figure it out.
Me and Lily just had she came over like 3 hours ago now. We've been kikiing for like 3 hours, and we're about to do another hour and a half kiki.
I'm obsessed. That's really all we do. Like, half the time I'm with Christina, I'm like, this might as well be an episode right now.
No, I know. Sometimes we're talking about shit, and I'm like, we should just be recording this.
Hold that thought.
No, literally hold the thought. But we're back. We're alone again. But I don't know. Maybe next week we'll have a guest or something. Life has just been like so chaotic. We can't really schedule guests in right now because we're gonna get into it. Lily officially moved yesterday. So we'll get into that in a bit. But before we get into that, let's do toxic thing of the week. Let's jump into it. I also have somewhere to be after this.
Booked and busy.
Booked and busy, baby. But okay. Are you still thinking about your toxic thing? Should I go first?
Go first. I have one. But.
Okay. So my toxic thing of the week is that it's kind of like stupid and funny. It's literally, I was texting Lily about this yesterday.
That's what it is.
No, that's exactly
it's
what
fucking
it is.
real.
It's real as fuck. So basically, over the weekend, it's Monday today. So Saturday night, me and Big Jeans went to dinner, came to my place, watched Harry Potter, slept together, whatever. Great. And then yesterday, he woke up and he had this meeting to go to, and we were under the impression that he was going to come back to my apartment after the meeting, and he was going to work on his stuff on his laptop, and I was going to edit my video separately and whatever, and we were still going to, continue hanging out because we were talking about this, like the gradual increase of time spent when you're in a relationship where you go from you spend the day together and then they spend the night and leave in the morning, and then they spend the night and they spend the entire day, and then they end up sleeping over a second time.
And then they have a change of clothes at your place.
Yeah, no, exactly. And then it just turns into the ultimate marathon. So that's what me and Big Jeans have been on recently. So that's what I was expecting was going to happen. And so he goes to this meeting though, and like I said, I was thinking he was going to come back after, but I had to edit my YouTube video and I had so much to do. And so I'm texting Lily and I'm like, you know what? Big Jeans is at this meeting right now and he's supposed to come back over after. But honestly, I really hope he kind of changes his mind because I just need to work on my own stuff and be alone for a sec and, whatever. And Lily's like, yeah, I feel that, whatever, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah. So let's just hope that he changes his mind, wants to go home, whatever. And then he leaves the meeting, and then he's like, and what do you know? He
has the audacity to change his mind.
Audacity. Men
to do exactly what you wanted him to do.
No, exactly.
But you didn't tell him you wanted him to do that.
Right. So he texts me, and he's like, hey, I actually think I'm going to go home. I really want to work on this clothing thing. And, he had his laptop on him, but the big thing was that he didn't have his, he uses a regular computer mouse. And he says it's really annoying to do what he does on just the laptop.
He has so much equipment too.
I could see how he literally has he has the gigantic dual monitors and
that
from what
man
he does.
Has more gadgets than anyone I know.
No, I know. Yeah. It's insane. But anyway, so yeah, he's so I'm going to go home. And I was like, oh, okay.
Maybe get hit by a bus while you're at it.
Great. I hope a crackhead approaches you on the J train. But then, so then he actually, I don't know if I told you this part, but he 20 minutes goes by and then I text him and I'm like, so are you sure you don't want to come over?
Christina, who did not want him to come over, who was too busy. It's so classic. It's once someone says no, then you want.
No, exactly. More. Literally, I was telling Lily, it's that scene in Euphoria where Maddie and you didn't see Euphoria, right?
Yes, I did.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, Maddie and what's his name?
Nate.
Oh. Yes. They're in the fucking. They're in the hot tub, and she's like. I don't know what they were even talking about.
Someone said, are you dating? And he said no.
And then she was like,
why'd you say no? He's like, because we're not dating. She's like, but why'd you say it like that?
Yeah. She's like, I know I said no, but why are you saying no?
Yeah.
So that's literally how I felt. He's like, no, I really need to I need my mouse, whatever, blah, blah. And I was like, okay. And then I texted Lily and I was like, you remember
How
earlier?
dare he?
I know. I literally was like, remember earlier when I was like, oh, like, I kind of hope Big Jeans ends up going home. Like, I have a lot of shit to do. I was like, well, guess what? He decided to go home.
He decided to have the audacity.
How dare he? So I was upset.
This is such a thing as a girl, I feel like we're not actually like clingy and like we love to be alone and like whatever, but we want to feel like the guy wants to be with us more than we actually even want to be with them.
Yeah, no. So I was like texting Lily like the audacity, and then I was just telling her before that when that was happening, I was like sitting on my couch on my phone and I'm like staring at the text messages and I'm like upset, and then at one point I'm just like literally out loud was like, stop. Yeah, like Christina, stop. No. And then I just like got up and I started cleaning my bathroom, and then I started editing and everything was fine in the end. But yeah, so that is my toxic thing of the week.
We're just a little mushy. That's why. You know
I am, because I just love.
I'm not like, when I'm on my own, and then I just get sucked into it. Like,
I've been like a little bit mushier in the past week for some reason.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Like I was really mushy, like those few months last year, and then now I'm like not. Like you just kind of go through eras.
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
And you're like, you guys are just getting really serious, so it's like exciting and it makes sense.
No, exactly. And like, oh, what the fuck was I gonna say? I don't know. Lost my train of thought. Whatever.
I was telling Christina, my thing is like, I always notice it when I've been hanging out with my boyfriend for a while and then he goes to leave. Like, I'm always like, I don't want you to leave, like, whatever. And I, like, half mean it, half don't. Right. But I feel it in the moment. I'm like, no, I don't want him to go. The second he's out the door, I couldn't be happier.
Like,
I'm like, literally, thank God. I have so much to do. And just, like, I want to go on TikTok and, like, do things. Yeah, I just, like, need my own space sometimes. But it's, like, you want them to want to stay. Like, I just want them to be like, hey.
I just like this is what I was gonna say before. I love just like being in the presence of my man, but like doing my own thing. Like I love when he spends like the entire day at my apartment and he's just on his laptop working on, his like whatever the hell he's working on, and then I'm on my laptop editing a video, editing the podcast, doing whatever, cleaning my apartment. Like we could be just like completely silent, not speaking at all, but it's just like nice to just like
it's
have
like
somebody around.
It's like running errands with your partner too.
Yeah, it's just nice to have like a buddy.
Yeah, no, it is 100%. I'm like the biggest advocate for that.
No, exactly. But all right, well, do you have a toxic thing now?
Like Christina was saying, I've been moving, so I haven't really been doing anything. You know what? Actually, as I'm saying that, what am I fucking talking about? Do you remember the state that I was in on Friday night? Hello, I showed up to that party like so drunk.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that with like a handle of tequila. Oh, I have the vlog clip. Oh. I watced it today actually. It's
no recollection of you taking.
You were like, no. In the vlog, you're like, no, this is not going to be my first debut. You're like, I showed up with a handle of tequila in my jacket. Like,
no, I had like this cunty little like purse on my shoulder, and then I'm like walking to the party and I pull out like a full handle of tequila. But it's funny because I wasn't planning on sharing the story, but it's funny because I haven't really been drinking the past 2 months, like not even like on purpose. Like I kind of accidentally did dry Jan and just haven't been drinking at all, much less like taking shots, you know what I mean? Yeah. So I'm with my boyfriend and like our 2 guy friends, and I wasn't supposed to go out. Like Christina was gonna go out and I bailed, like whatever, somehow got roped into going, and I have one cocktail, and then
as God intended.
Yes, and then
Lily literally texted me. She's like, "No, like I don't think I'm gonna go."
No, so
like,
I
have a lot of things.
I thought I was gonna meet my boyfriend for ramen, and that we were gonna come right back home and finish packing. Whatever. I go to meet him. He ambushed me because he knew that it was the only way to get me to go. He was like, "Everyone's about to show up at this bar.
Right?
You're gonna be so excited about." I was like, "Okay."
You have no choice.
I was like, I just told Christina I wasn't going.
No, like literally 10 minutes prior, and then I get a text from her. She goes, "Actually, I'm coming, and I'm bringing all of the boys." I was like,
a bottle of tequila.
Oh, yeah, and a bottle. She goes, I'm actually accidentally drunk. By the way, I'm coming to the party. By the way, I'm bringing all the guys.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh.
Yeah, I bought that bottle. I was so mommy. Yeah. And I was like, we're all going to split it. I knew that wasn't happening. I bought that bottle and everyone drank it. It was great. But it was just funny because I like haven't been drinking. And I'm usually like, I'm a little bit of a lightweight, but not like crazy. I had one cocktail, 1 shot tequila. Avery looks at me and was like, "You're hammered?" Yeah. I was like, "Yes, sir. Yes, I am."
Sometimes it's
but then I took like 3 more and I was just sipping on it.
No, dude, I'm like, I don't consider myself a lightweight either.
But some nights.
It's so weird because sometimes, I swear to God, it depends on like the drinks and whatever. Like sometimes I will have one cocktail and be like on my ass, and other times I'm like 4 cocktails
I'm like
deep,
trying
and I'm
to get
like,
drunk.
Yeah,
I'll like take 2 shots and I'm like, I am sober. It's so bizarre. Yeah. But Friday night was one of those nights where I had 2 sips of alcohol and I was
Yeah.
shit faced. But I just remember like this is why I'm so over the sober era, Christina, because you were like talking to me for so long and I was just sitting there like, like, I was like listening, but I was also like, is she just looking at me like I'm the stupidest person ever right now? Because I just felt like I looked drunk. You know, I was like looking through
No,
people.
I didn't think you looked drunk at all. I don't think you
I'm
looked
so
drunk
good at like
all.
hiding how drunk I am.
Really?
People always be like, you were drunk, and I'm like, oh,
You
I
know
couldn't
what?
see.
Yeah, I
couldn't
agree.
see. Yeah,
like
people tell me
that
a
night,
lot.
I felt like you were like fine.
No,
I know.
yeah.
I was everyone's like, "What you drinking?" And I'm like, "Dr. Pepper."
Yeah.
They're like, "Where'd you get that Dr. Pepper?" I'm like, "Oh, I brought it from home."
That made me laugh so hard. You're like, I got a Dr. Pepper from home. Yeah. I was like, what the fuck?
You know what though? I did go to the liquor store beforehand and I got like a pack of hard seltzers for everybody else because I was like, I don't want to show up empty-handed. I'm still gonna show up with alcohol, but I'm gonna throw a little DP, 1 or 2 DPs
Love
in
it.
there for myself.
That wasn't supposed to be. That wasn't really a toxic thing of the week. It kind of was because I just got absolutely hammered for no reason.
Yeah.
Unplanned.
Oh, and she also had to be up like hella early the next day too
so
to
early.
like start packing.
So
and
early,
stuff.
didn't sleep at all, and then had to get up so early the next day. My roommate's mom was there, and like it was a whole day. And then the next day, my mover showed up at 6:45 in the morning. Yeah. So I like didn't sleep for 2 days.
That
So-
literally happened when I was moving also, that like the movers were supposed to, I think it was actually the same exact thing. They were supposed to show up between like 7 and 8 or
10.
something, and they showed up at like 6 a.m.
Yeah.
I was like,
oh, they'll come at like 7:30 if anything.
Yeah.
6. Yeah. I was like, okay,
you
good
know,
morning.
I think I
everyone.
literally told them on the phone. They were like, yeah, like we're at your building. I'm like, oh my God, I think I told them, I was like, I wasn't expecting you guys for another hour. You're going to have to give me like 30 minutes. Like,
Yeah.
because also I was working with Roadway and I was like filming like the whole thing for like
you had to
Instagram
look
and stuff.
decent.
So I was like, so I was like, I got to look like kind of decent. Like,
Yeah, that's so funny.
Oh my God, it was a whole thing. But let's actually get into housekeeping.
Yeah.
Because
Oh, yeah,
we're
the
talking about
move.
moving and she officially moved yesterday. So
I'm a Greenpoint girly now.
Yeah.
Williamsburg / Greenpoint
Greenpoint
girly.
mommy.
Well, my toxic thing of the week was going to be that my boyfriend did everything for the move and that he's moving too. And he was like, so what time are you coming to help me move? And I was like, I'm not. I'm not.
Wow.
I'm a little girl.
doesn't really seem like something I do.
I'm a little baby girl. I don't know how to do that.
Right.
Anyway, but yeah, so I moved. Very exciting. I'm like a walk away from Christina, which
Yeah.
is insane. Balled out at Brooklyn yesterday. Let's fucking go.
Oh yeah, she was like texting me.
I
like-
literally like have Christina's bed now.
Yeah. Did you get the pillows too? Did you go to
I
Casper?
got Casper. I got
you got
two of the
Casper
pillows.
pillows.
They were a little flimsier than I expected. I think
Really?
I'm gonna have those two and then get another two that are a little thicker. Or
Really?
something.
Are you like a more firm pillow? Because I don't.
Think so.
Okay, then that's
But I like
probably
having.
why.
I think I like having both. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like David liked it, the flimsy one. Anyway, enough about
Yeah.
pillows.
Pillows
but-
are important.
Oh my god, so important. But I really like balled out. I'm like, this is my big girl like room. Like, yeah, I still live with roommates and stuff, but I was like, I want to have nicer shit. Like, I'm done with like Amazon bedding and like cheap
the
crap.
older you get, you just have to start investing. The older
Also,
you get,
it's
the more
like-
you realize the things that
Yes.
you need to invest in and the things that you absolutely don't.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
And it's like you can spend $100 on a desk on Amazon. I've done that shit like that for years.
Yeah.
It actually has cost me more money because
Yeah.
I've bought so many dressers
beat up,
and so many
shit.
bed frames and so many, they literally fall apart. Like they're
Yeah.
really bad. So it's worth it to get good stuff. But yeah.
No, especially your bedding.
Yeah, especially the bedding. Oh my
Especially
God,
the bedding.
I'm balling out on that.
Yeah, Brooklinen, amazing. Casper, amazing. My whole mattress and like all that shit. My pillows are Casper. My entire bedding is Brooklinen. I've been a Brooklinen girly for like a minute now. I started using them when I was living in Hudson Yards, and I just like have never looked back. And my mom is like still like somebody that like she just doesn't like get it. She's like, why are you spending like so much on your bedding? Blah blah blah. And
That
I'm like,
surprises me. Usually,
you-
I feel like a mom would.
I know
that.
my mom is like no more than $20 on sheets at Costco, honey. Like that's
yeah.
my mom. My mom
Yeah.
has like a heart attack if I spend more than $50 on a pair of shoes.
Your mom is so funny.
That's just the Long Island mom for you. But
Totally.
yeah, no. So that's that. But my mom literally like she's slept at my apartment like 2 or 3 times now, and every time she
Yeah.
sleeps over, she's like, you have such a comfortable bed. Everybody that sleeps in my apartment is like, you have the most comfortable bed. Even
Yep.
Big Jeans brought it up again the other day.
Yep.
Was like,
No, it's
holy
so
shit.
worth it. Like I don't
Yeah.
even have like a duvet cover yet, or like I just had like a plain comforter and like I got sheets from Cozy Earth. Not sponsored. They did send them to me though, and they're fucking.
They do sponsor a lot of pods,
They do sponsor a lot of
so-
pods. I wanted to say not sponsored, but the Cozy Earth sheets. Oh my god! If you want to ball out on it, They're so good. But I got in bed last night and my boyfriend was like, damn, you live in nice. Like, what the hell? Like, the bed was, I felt like it wasn't like a hotel bed, even nicer. Like, it was amazing. So,
Yeah.
But the move, very exciting.
Yeah.
The girls are growing. We're down the street from each other. I live with girls. It's just a girly world.
Yeah,
right now.
no. We went
just
to go.
girly
She texted me
Brooklyn.
this morning that she was like going to a coffee shop to work on some stuff. I was like, oh my God.
I-
Girls' first walk to get coffee through the neighborhood. This is
I
iconic.
can't even like tell you the energy shift I felt this morning. It
Yeah.
was kind of like weird. Like I like have been sleeping in so late, lazy, like just not doing my best, not working my hardest and not doing my best. I woke up at like 8 today and just was like getting ready, go to get coffee.
Yeah.
Already like got more work done than like my coworker started at like 10 and I was already done. I was like,
Yeah.
what the fuck? It was so nice, but definitely feeling that energy shift for
I love
sure.
it. I
which is
am all
exciting.
for it. I am selfishly excited for this era of her life.
Yeah, now I'm like, I get why people live in these nice neighborhoods. You really do have a better life. Like, you
the
really-
quality of life is
It's worth the
shoots
extra
up.
money. Oh my God.
Yeah. All right, G&T, everybody. That rhymes. I've never done that before.
Very good. Wow, this is a
G&T,
good one though.
everybody.
You
Yeah,
went the
guys,
fuck up.
We have
This is longer than the episode.
dude, this shit's insane. I'm gonna like try and run through it as much as I can, but okay, there's only one thing
And we're talking about
on G&T.
my two queens.
Yeah, the two queens of rap are beefing,
And I love them both so much. So I'm like, fuck, this is tough. But and
Yeah.
they both have really good points.
No, it's dude, this shit is nuts. So basically, hold on, I gotta put my coffee down for this one. All right, so Nicki Minaj and Meg Thee Stallion are beefing, guys. They're beefing hard. We're sure you've heard about it. I was doing research for this episode to talk about this, and this shit just, oh my God, I couldn't even keep up. Nicki Minaj's Twitter is all Meg.
Please go look at it.
It's guys, like it's
so
just
funny.
insane. But like basically getting you caught up to speed, what happened was Meg Thee Stallion released a new song called Hiss. And she was basically making like a bunch of shots at like a bunch of different like people and artists and whatever. But there's some lyrics in there that say, these hoes don't be mad at Megan. These hoes mad at Megan's Law. I don't really know what the problem is, but I guarantee y'all don't want me to start. That's the lyrics. And if you guys don't know Megan's Law, I wrote down like the definition of it. It is a federal law in the USA that requires law enforcement to make information available to the public regarding registered sex offenders. And so the reason why this is like a big like beef and everything.
I didn't know Nicki's brother.
So okay, I'm not gonna confirm that, but apparently, one of those like popular Twitter pages said that her brother is also like Pop Crave or like one of those like sources. So it's not like a super reliable source, but
Yeah,
the
but
number
you
one
can
thing
you can see if someone's a sex offender publicly. So
yeah,
like
maybe like look that up or something. But for sure, everybody knows Nicki Minaj's husband is a registered sex offender. And brother TBD. But I think a few people were saying the brother was too. Is he? Did you look it up?
I think he is.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So her husband and her brother are registered sex offenders. So obviously that was like a dig. And then Nicki Minaj, she then previewed a new song like right after that like, you know, song came out and everything. She previewed her new song and the lyrics in it say, bad bitch, she like 6 foot. I call her Bigfoot. A bitch fell off. I told him get up on their good foot. Which this is a reference to Megan Thee Stallion and the Tory Lanez stuff that went on. Because if you guys remember, this is like a while ago now, I believe.
I'm deep in this right now.
Yeah,
on Twitter.
no, there's so many factors to this. Is why I was getting so fucked up writing all this
obviously
stuff.
the Tory Lanez like thing about her foot. And,
Yeah. So that was because Megan Thee Stallion, Tory Lanez shot Megan Thee Stallion in the foot.
Never fucking forget.
Never forget that entire thing that went on.
And
That's
never
like a whole
forget,
thing in
I felt
itself.
so bad for Meg during that time. People saying that it wasn't real and that it wasn't. I mean, this is what Nicki didn't she say something like, "Where's the scar?"
I have no idea, dude. There's so many.
I think she said something like that on live, where she was like, "Where's the scar?" Like, bitch, what,
I don't
what do you
know.
want her to do?
That's
Post
what I'm
her
saying
foot?
is that
Like,
there's
post her
just so
bullet wound?
many like things. This was so hard to follow. Anyways, I literally wrote down bullet points and then I started getting lazy at the end because I was like, what is going on? So then I have Meg posted this like IG story. It was her like laughing and stuff. And then Nicki kept coming at Megan. She made, do you know what Station Head is? I don't know if it's maybe a radio station or I don't know what it is. But basically there was a quote like that she said something to Station Head or on Station Head. I don't know. But it says, she said, How many dicks of abusers have you sucked knowingly? Bringing up 13-year-old T from when a man was 15 being lied on is not the flex you think it is.
30-year-old
Constantly, whatever.
Yeah.
Well, she said, the thing said, the source that I got it from said 13-year-old T. I think like 13 years old.
No, because it was 30 years ago that he did it.
Oh.
Her husband? He did it when he was 15 years old.
Yeah. That's a 13-year-old T from when a man was 15. Okay, whatever. Anyways. Constantly mentioning a man who isn't an artist, isn't on social media, just shows me you have nothing like your flows. You are still learning how to rap, and that's the truth. And then she tweeted she was calling her a horrible actor that can't cry on cue and a pathological manipulative liar. On IG Live, she said something like 3 Grammys and you have to learn how to rap on the beat. And then this is where I started just getting like lazy with it because I was like, what the fuck is going on? She's been liking every single tweet to do with Meg Thee Stallion, like making fun of her doing this, that. Nicki's Twitter, like, let me just go through this. Okay, she tweeted about her dead mother.
Yeah, which
what? It's just insane. Guys, you need to just like scroll through her Twitter. It's absolutely insane. And then also she fully released her diss track Bigfoot like a day ago or so. And apparently she also tweeted that she has 5 songs ready to go if Meg tries to deny anything that she said on her songs. Guys, the best way I could describe this though is just take a scroll through her Twitter. I screenshotted some tweets. Well, I screenshotted 2. Which
like
this one is about
deep into her husband right now. That's what I'm doing in case anyone's wondering.
Like this tweet says, this is insane. It says, y'all want to bring up family members and lying on your dead mother, lied to Gail, lied on and fucked your best friend's man, told me to drink and go to the clinic if I was pregnant, all because I wouldn't let your funky butt pour liquor down my throat. Bitch thinks she a bully because she get a Rock Nation brunch every year. Be mad at party. He told all your tea, but you taking shots at my family. Blah. Get up on your good foot. Hashtag Pink Friday 2. Platinum, go apologize to your mother. Nasty serpent. Repent.
Get up on your good foot's crazy.
No. And then the other one said after the first No, it literally says after the first one dropped, this is her talking about the song. If that pussy ass hoe so much as breathe wrong, I'ma empty the clip.
Yep.
If what pussy ass hoe deny one thing I say, I'm posting every fucking receipt known to man. 5. Yes, you heard me. Did 5 extra songs. We've been waiting on you, hoe. Play hashtag Pink Friday 2 nonstop barbs. Love you.
See, I'm curious what receipts Nicki has, though.
I am a little curious.
Like,
yeah.
I feel like what Meg is saying about Nicki, about like her husband and like this random, it's like, I'm just confused, like what happened between them to make them be bringing up like their family matter. Like,
yeah.
What actually, I'm so confused.
I'm sorry, I just got this is totally
so
off topic. I
confused.
just got an email that this freaking company keeps fucking up the thing again. I'm like, what is it? What is it?
Oh my god.
Anyways,
like what even happened though? Like they're making fun of like, oh, you got shot and your mom's dead, blah, blah, blah. Like, what is that even?
Guys,
like, what is the correlation?
I have no fucking clue. Like I said, this was so hard to
like
follow.
follow.
I was like, oh, like I'm gonna write down like, you know, the details, whatever, blah 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 blah.
Yeah. They're just fighting.
And then
I
was just like, yeah, at a point I just stopped and I just scrolled because I was like, oh, I'm gonna go on Nicki Minaj's Twitter and I'm gonna find the tweets like about Meg and I'll quote him on the show. And then I went to her Twitter and it's nuts. She's still going. Mm-hmm. It's like, I don't know. And it's guys, this shit just goes absolutely insane. So
I feel like Meg did some, like, I feel like what Meg is saying about Nicki is way more like valid. Like, yeah, Nicki is married to a fucking sex offender and he did rape a woman. I just read the whole thing and I have read about it before. Like, he did assault a woman in 1994, pled guilty, served 4 years, and then in 2019 there was more evidence that came up to prove even further that he did it 100%. So like, she is fully married to a man that did that. And her, like, I love Nicki Minaj. I'm a huge fan, but like, at least what Meg was like saying about her was fucking valid. Like, her comeback was bad. And like, I usually will always stand by Nicki, but like, girl, what? You're coming for her for getting
but
shot?
this is like literally some of the most like iconic well, not maybe iconic's not the word, but kind of iconic.
No, it is iconic.
Rapper
I know what you mean.
beef.
No, it is iconic.
Female rapper beef, and
but
like
what she's coming at Meg for is so stupid, like getting shot, like things out of her control. Her
Yeah.
mom dying, but at
the
same
mom
time,
dying is like
it's crazy. But at the same time, I'm like, Meg must have done something for Nikki to like get. I don't know.
unless
to, like,
she was just like getting really like defensive about her husband. I don't know.
But why did Meg come for Nikki in the first place? Like, what the fuck happened?
I don't know. Maybe
Something
it was
happened
just because
behind the
you said
scenes.
that she was making Meg, the song was her making disses at like a bunch of people. It was a diss track.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe she's just like, I don't know.
But it just seems like, I don't know, something must have happened because
Yeah.
a female rapper who they've collaborated.
Maybe you guys know something that we don't. If anybody knows why they're beefing specifically, like outside of like, you know, all of this, please like let us know.
I'm so confused.
Yeah.
Because something had to have happened. Like,
I have no clue. Keep us posted, guys, because
like,
don't
you know,
know.
I don't even remember what the core thing between Cardi B and Nicki was. I think it was that Cardi B like came up on the scene and kind of like didn't pay her respects to Nicki and like said that like she wasn't the best female rapper, and like she kind of like Nicki really like, yes, there's female rappers.
I don't
before
follow.
Nicki.
I don't follow this stuff.
Yeah, but you know her and Cardi B hate each other. You know that.
I believe so. Yeah.
If they got, remember they like 2 years ago they almost got in like a physical fight at an award show or something, like Nicki or Cardi like went for her or something. I feel like that happened, but they hate each other.
Oh God, I have no fucking clue. Once again, I'm
Oh my God, dive into
horrible with
that.
keeping up.
Remember they had the
with
song
this stuff.
Motorsport, Cardi B, Nicki, Offset. Motorsport, put that thing in sport. You don't know that song? Oh my
I
God,
don't
gotta
know.
go.
Maybe listen. I'm horrible with this stuff. Ironically enough, like because like
I know
we do this
the
segment,
yeah.
but I'm horrible with keeping up with these things.
But I remember
Whatever.
it was that Cardi B, like, I don't remember exactly what happened, but she disrespected Nicki. Like,
Yeah.
Cardi B was in the wrong. And, like, Nicki, if you're going to be a female rapper, like, you better respect Nicki
Yeah,
Minaj.
yeah.
Like, she is the greatest of all time, the
Yeah,
biggest
yeah,
of all
yeah.
time. So, but that's why I'm surprised, because when Meg came on the scene, she said how much she loved Nicki and Beyonce and how they were, like, her everything. They did a song together. Like, she idolized Nicki. That was, like, her biggest.
Yeah.
So I think that's why Nicki liked Meg. She, like, really appreciated that she, like.
Yeah.
So I don't know what could have happened between them, because they were like this. They
Yeah.
were like, I don't know, but I need to know.
Yeah.
Tell
If you
me.
guys know, maybe there's something out there that we, like I said, we're not caught
I'm
up on.
eating this
so
up.
Let us know. But yeah, that's like the only thing we have for GNT this week, because it's just so much. And like we said, guys, like if you need to understand it, go to Nicki Minaj's Twitter, take a nice little walk through it.
Yeah,
It's
listen to their songs.
insane.
Or,
Listen,
like,
yeah,
random.
listen to each song. Yeah, so we listened to the song when we were preparing for this episode.
I don't know what's happening.
We don't know what's happening. Like
All I know is I want her to drop the other 5.
I want to hear the other 5.
I know she's got them too.
I want to know
She's
what's going
crazy.
on. Anyways, but that's that. Let's get into our actual topic of the week. Topic of the week. I've never said that before, but whatever. We're talking toxic positivity, so let's do it. All right, guys, we're talking about toxic positivity today. This I'm actually kind of surprised we didn't talk about this yet.
This is like my biggest fault. So
No, yeah, Lily has some experience with toxic positivity. You know what? We're thinking of like episode ideas, and then I forget where. I think it was like reading something online, and somebody said something about toxic positivity, and I was like, wait a minute, that would make a great episode, because that's literally basically where you're just being like, we'll read the exact definition a little bit, but where you're just being overtly positive to try and like mask the bad in your life and not actually like dealing with it.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's something that I feel like everybody does this at some point when they just like don't really feel like dealing up front with like,
the most common
issues or
way is when you're dating someone.
yeah, as in relationships.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
when a guy's horrible to you, but you don't want your friends to know. Because,
Yeah.
like whatever. Yeah.
Or just like very like avoidant
Yeah.
people in general, and like, you know, so that's that. So basically, okay, so like the actual definition of toxic positivity is the pressure to only display positive emotions, suppressing any negative emotions, feelings, reactions, or experiences. It oh, sorry, I fucked this up. It invalidates human experience and can lead to trauma, isolation. Oh my God, I can't talk. And unhealthy coping mechanisms. Oh my God, you know what? You know why I'm like blah, 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 because I was literally, I was calculating my milligrams of caffeine before recording. I was like, okay, so I had 200 milligrams and the daily limit is supposed to be 400 milligrams. So if I have one more coffee, that's like 100 milligrams, and like I won't go over the daily
right now. Do you guys literally hear her right now?
It's affecting my my concise speaking, but you guys get the point. It's basically, you know, when you are essentially wearing a mask where, you know, you are masking these negative emotions or, you know, things, experiences that you're having, you're just masking it by acting like everything's okay. You're trying to, you know, find a way to make it seem like it's okay when, you know, it's actually not, and it might be something bad, and, you know, you're upset, but you're just not expressing that to, like, you know, another level. There's things that, like, you know, there's obviously people that have negative emotions and maybe they don't want to, you know, share them or talk about them like as openly and everything. But toxic positivity is like when you have these negative emotions, but you're just making it,
dismissing them almost.
Yeah, that's a good word.
And it can be like for different reasons. It can be like, one, you don't want people to know, or like two, you don't want to be like the negative friend, or like or like you're not good at being vulnerable. Like it can be for different reasons, but like whatever it is, you're for whatever reason just not able to like say what's going
exactly. On. And like I guess we can go back and forth kind of like with our own experiences, because like I said, I feel like so many people have experienced this in their lives at least one time, whether it be in a relationship or, you know, a family situation or a work situation, you know, all those sorts of things. I tend to not still do this, because the good thing, at least for me, is I was thinking about this before the episode. If I do the toxic positivity thing, and I definitely have before, like in my last relationship, you know, with my narcissistic boyfriend, I definitely was very guilty of this, of being like, oh my God, like, you know, it's fine that he's following a million girls on Instagram that are all 19 and blonde. Like, it's like, it really actually doesn't bother me. Like, you know, and then other things that like, oh my God,
thing, like he only ever did dinner. Like I remember like one time you were telling me you wish he would plan like activities or whatever, and I remember being like, Christina, you've asked him multiple times to do that and he won't do it.
Yeah, and it's like,
no, it's fine. He loves taking me to dinner.
Yeah,
and I'm
it's
like, but you don't want to go to dinner.
You almost, I saw, like, using this word very lightly, but I feel like I'll apply it to here and you guys will get what I mean. It's almost like you're gaslighting yourself into believing something
100%.
else. You know, obviously, like, you know, when a guy, you know, when he's, you know, when you see like a guy liking like some girl's bikini photos and he's like, all right, fine, like I'll just delete my Instagram, like, you know, whatever. It's like you're just like gaslighting yourself into like making yourself believe like, oh my God, no, like he was out with that girl like all night, but like they're literally just friends. Like I know that they're just friends. Like they're just really like hanging out and they're like besties, and like, you know, it's cool. Like you're, even though you know something's wrong and something is wrong, you're literally like manipulating yourself into believing that it's all good. And this is like, you know, people do this for like a million reasons. For me personally, what I say my own personal experience is that sometimes I do this to my friends because I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I could be a very prideful person, and I've done so much in my career and made it so far and like all this stuff that when things go wrong, I don't like people knowing because I'm like,
and you're viewed as like, that friend that like has her shit together.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
so it's like I don't want to be viewed as not that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've gotten like way better with that. Like I'm pretty open with my friends sharing things, but also for me, I see a life coach every single week, and so, you know, I'm able to use her as like my outlet, you know, maybe for the things that I don't want to
text me all the time. So.
What? Yeah, no, I was like, well,
I don't know about that, but yeah.
No, but that's what I'm saying is I used to be a lot worse about it, but I found myself over like, you know, where I really started opening up about it, I think was only like towards the end of last year, mid to last year, where I was just like really like starting to like open up about like different things, like
both
telling,
of us. Because we both went through really vulnerable things that were kind of embarrassing. Yeah. And we realized that I think in the past when we would tell each other stuff, like, you know, we were like young and we would just be like, no, fuck it. Like give each other tough love. More than we should have. Yeah. I think now we've proved to each other as friends that like I can tell you anything. Yeah. And you will not you know, I like that. I think we've like kind of
no
cultivated
judgment.
that.
Yeah, it's like a no judgment zone. We were even talking. Okay, this is actually kind of a weird example, but I think might apply. Where oh my god, what was I gonna say? The conversation that we were having. Oh my god, we were having this conversation with you just the other day about what's it called? When you get older, you have like more maturity to be like real about things. Wait, we were having the conversation this morning. I don't even know what we were. Oh, we were like shitting on like some guy, and we're like, oh, but you know what? He actually did that right, and I will give him that.
Yeah.
Like, you know, things like that. And so it kind of like plays into this, like the older you get, the more you're
just like, this is what it is. It's like,
exactly. And you like become more open, your friends. And
when you're younger, you're trying to like prove a point to people. Like, no, my relationship's perfect. You paint this picture and you want everyone to only see that picture. So you're very careful about like what you say and like whatever. But the older you get, you're like, oh my God, I don't even have the energy to like do that anymore.
Yeah, and it's like everybody like has their shit too.
Yes.
Like nobody is a perfect person. Nobody has a perfect relationship. Like none of that stuff. And yeah, for me, like I struggled a lot, honestly. I don't know if we've even talked about this, but I struggled a lot with well, I've talked about it on the show, saying no. And like sometimes, even if it affected my finances, I would not say no to things. Like I don't know if it was like I never like feared like losing my friends or anything, which is why like I ended up taking
you
like,
just never were the friend that said no.
Yeah,
so
and like even like, you know, with like
there was an
money
expectation.
And, like,
kind of. You've probably felt that way, which makes total sense.
That's a great way to put it.
Because there wasn't, but like you did always say yes to things. So like when I would ask you, I did expect you to say yes to go get dinner or go on a trip or like whatever.
No,
so
exactly.
I get why there was that expectation.
Yeah, so that was like for me for like a while. I would just like it. So how it relates to like the toxic positivity is, you know, I always had like, you know, acting like everything's good and fine and whatever, blah 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 blah. But then I started opening up like a little bit more, and like I no longer was with my manager as of like December. And when I was taking a break from social media and stuff, I lost out on like a bunch of income, and that's something I didn't want like any of my friends to like really like know.
Yeah, the extent
like,
of.
Yeah, the extent of. And you know, it was a rough like few months for me for like a little bit, and so I was just still like, no, like it's fine, everything's good, like whatever. Yeah, I could still go out and ball out on that $500. Like I don't give a fuck, like whatever. When that like really was not the case. I'm not broke by any means, but like I just was not making the same, you know, beauty cheeky money that I was for a little bit. Yeah. And it was hard, like, you know, I didn't want to like face that reality of like you gotta cut back for like a little bit. But then I finally did, and you know, I was like, you know, started getting, I told you guys in the last episode, one of my big things, like we just said, was saying no more and like, you know, focusing more on like my work and making money and, you know, being able to like cut down on things. And, you know, if everybody wants to like go out and party all night and drink, being able to be like, no, like I honestly don't want to go out and like spend that money right now or do those things because I gotta work. And, you know, it's kind of like coming to like a realization with yourself. So that's like,
I'm doing so much reflecting kind of in my brain right now.
Yeah.
Because, well, when you said that you didn't tell your friends things or whatever because you were a prideful person, that probably, because I was trying to figure out why was I not able to be more vulnerable? Like, why have I been like that? And I don't really even know. I feel like that could be like a good therapy conversation. There has to be something pretty deeply rooted there.
It takes like a lot of like self-reflection to figure out like the why, like, you know, and it took me a while too, because I was like, I also couldn't figure it out because I was like, I don't know why I don't want to talk to my friends about this, because like I know they're not going to care. They're not going to view me any differently. They're not going to love me any less. So like, what's the issue? Yeah. But I think it was literally just me getting in my own way because I've just been this person for so long to my friends that I was like, you know, I'm always the friend that's like, yeah, let's go spend $300 on that dinner. And to be the friend that's like, oh, actually, I don't feel like going out and spending, you know, money tonight. I was like, I was like psyching myself out that like I was like changing this image of me. But, you know, so it's more like it's in also, your own head.
Yes, it's so deeply subconscious too, because my boyfriend was the one that literally made me aware of this and like was like, this is a really big problem. We were like hadn't been dating that long, and he started to notice that like when we would go through hard times, he'd be like, you know, did you talk to Christina or whatever? And I'd be like, no, I don't tell her. Like, I didn't tell her. Like, don't tell her that we got in a fight. Like, I would just be like, weird. Like, what the fuck? And eventually he'd be like, Lily, like, you need to be vulnerable with your friends.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, oh, but I don't want them to know that you did that because then they'll hate you and like whatever. And he's
Yeah.
like, no, they won't. Like,
Yeah.
And I don't really know where it all came from because I kind of was like that in my other relationships, but at the same time, I don't know. It was just kind of like a subconscious thing that he kind of started to call me out for, and like over and over again would what?
No, continue. I was gonna say, can I suggest something?
What?
That you could totally correct me if I'm wrong.
I
but
will,
just my spidey senses tingling, my life coaching senses tingling. Do you
You
feel
think it has to do with my ex?
No,
Oh, okay.
no. I was gonna say more so, do you feel like with like your current boyfriend specifically, because you guys had like a little bit of a roller coaster in the beginning and there was a lot of uncertainty, and because of that it's like, you know, you would, you know, break up and it would be like bad and we all be like fuck him, and then you guys would get back together and everything's good, and then you broke up like again, it was like fuck him again. Do you feel like maybe subconsciously you're like, I don't want to tell my friends that we're having issues because
Oh, for sure.
of,
That
like,
definitely was part of it.
yeah, it's what am I trying to word? Like, I don't want to tell my friends we're having issues because they're gonna be like, oh, like again, like
Totally.
sort of thing.
No, that was totally part of it. But then when he brought it to my attention that I did that, I realized that I've been doing it for a long time.
Yeah.
Like because I was like, oh, maybe I didn't have friends in my life like Christina that I could be vulnerable. But then I thought about it, and like my best friends from home were the least judgmental people in the whole world. Like Maggie, Sarah, Jeremy, whatever. My hometown friends, like I could tell them anything and they wouldn't care. But like I remember like my high school relationships, like crazy shit would happen, never told my friend. Like I've kind of been like that for a long time.
And you know what? Well, here's the thing. Sometimes that's a good thing. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
like I'm a
you don't
private
need
person and I always will
Yeah,
be.
you don't need to talk.
I don't tell
about,
everyone all my business.
Yeah,
and I
this
never
is
will.
actually another episode that I wanted to do that I had written down is specifically boundaries in your relationship when it comes to like the outside world. With, like what you share.
I'm
what you
never
don't.
gonna be
But
someone that tells my friends like every
little
last
fight.
I'm
Yeah.
just not like that, and it's like not. And it's not even to the point where I'm like trying to hide anything. It's like, but I need to only share it when it's like when the big stuff happens. Like I have to share that stuff. Like I have to like let my friends in. But I am always going to be a more private person. Now that I feel like I'm in a therapy session right now because now I'm like thinking about when I was a kid in high school.
I feel like
whatever.
I need to like psychoanalyze you.
And I think I've kind of figured it out is because my family's like very normal and like whatever, but we've had a lot of shit happen over the years that I hid in elementary school. Starting then, I didn't have to, but I felt like I did hide it from friends. So I think I was so used to like having a home life,
hide what from friends?
things that happened in my home, like with my
Yeah,
siblings
yeah,
and like
yeah,
whatever,
yeah,
like
yeah.
various things that have
Got
happened
it.
in my family. I always felt like we're so like no one else was going through it, and so I would hide it. Like I had these crazy things happening in my life,
especially like at like such a young
11,
age too.
12.
Everybody's like, you know,
Yeah.
you're not
I'm in middle school.
most young children
Yeah.
are not faced with like those sorts of things, and so you don't want to, you know, at 11 years old your friends are talking about going outside for recess and playing.
This
and
is
you're
fascinating. I've
thinking
never
about-
thought about this before,
Yeah.
but I actually think that could be a huge part of it.
Yeah.
And then I think I started dating guys that were a lot older than me in high school too. So that came with maybe like some things happening that the other girls in my grade weren't really experiencing.
Yeah.
Like they were like, I would catch him like doing drugs, or I would catch him, I don't know, doing things that like guys my age weren't. So I think I was just, I don't know, I started to like hide things from people, but like I viewed it as like, no, I'm just like private, but like there's a fine line.
And I think it's also different, like I said too, like at least for me, like, you know, I'm a pretty open book about like most, I would say a big, all of my life.
I really,
with you
with
guys.
you and Ryan now,
But-
I'm an open book.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
period.
exactly. But obviously, if you, which I always encourage people, get a therapist, get a life coach, get something, some sort of outside source. I obviously am lucky that I have my life coach, that like the things that maybe I'm not comfortable discussing yet with my friends, I have like that outside like perspective. I have the life coach that like I could get everything out to and talk to her about like all the things and all my shit and whatnot. You honestly, girl, you need a life coach again.
I know. No,
Or a
I actually think I'm gonna
therapist
do
or
therapy.
something.
I've
You
been talking
should.
about it for a while. I was like,
I think right now I feel like maybe therapy would be good for you.
what
and then a
I
transition
do
into
is
coaching.
because I did it for so long. I always like whenever I feel like I need it, I go back and I do it for as long as I feel like I need it, and then I'll, because it is
That's fine.
also a financial thing for a lot of people.
Yeah,
it is
yeah,
for
of
me.
course.
But the therapist that I work with is like if I know it's coming, it's pretty affordable. Like I can do it. I'm just gonna get through my move, but I've been talking about it for months. I actually think I'm gonna
you
back.
totally
because
should.
I'm also in like a new era of my life.
Yeah.
Like very much so. Feeling really good. Like I'm not like, oh, I need therapy. It's almost like ironic. Like I feel like I need therapy because I'm entering a great era and I want to like go into it with all the tools I need.
Well, that's how I felt.
I'm not like even like going through it or anything.
No, that's how I felt at the beginning
weird.
of this year with my life coach. I was like, I'm actually feeling really good about this
I'm
year
entering
and kicking it
something
off.
good, but it's a little overwhelming.
No, exactly. It's like I have so many things I need to like figure out, like, you know, my first steps and everything. And, you know, obviously you guys know I am like a life coach too, but you know, doctors need doctors, coaches need coaches, therapists need therapy.
100%.
That's just how like life is. And yeah, obviously like therapy and life coaching and that sort of stuff is, you know, it's a privilege, honestly, you know,
it has become more accessible though. And it
has,
again, not sponsored. BetterHelp has made it
genuinely very, very accessible.
They have like, you put in how much you make, what you can tell them like specifically what your situation is. Like, they actually read about like who you are and whatever. And then they give you a discount based on that, which is like amazing. So yeah, they have made it more accessible.
Yeah, it's been more accessible. I will say that life coaching has been therapy, life coaching, whatever. For me personally, it's life coaching. My parents could not understand at first why, just total transparency with you guys, I pay $175 per session for coaching.
Look at that. You don't get that from a lot of influencers.
Yeah, I'm just gonna be like straight up, like,
no, go the fuck up.
So,
but you have the lifestyle, and like
I will say too, my coach, I've been with her for a long time, so my rate is what my rate was in like 2020. She's never like upped it on me or anything because like we have a very good relationship, and you know. But yeah, so I do sessions once a week for an hour, and it's $175. That's how much I pay her. But my parents, when I started doing that, you know, my parents tend to be, now they're so much more open to the idea, especially since I started going to school. Like when I told them I want to go back to school and I want to be a life coach, and then I started doing it, my parents are like just so much more interested by the field and accepting and everything. But my parents did have that like very old school mindset for a sec, where they just like could not fathom why I was paying for a life coach, or like why I wanted like a therapist or like something like that. They were just like, literally like, deal with it yourself. Like, I don't get it. Like, talk to your friends. Like, you don't need to be paying that. So you know, they like, and a lot of parents like do still have those mindsets. Like I said, luckily mine has changed, but at the time my parents just could not understand why I was paying $175 every single week to see this coach. But now that they've seen, like, I've learned so much from coaching, and it's helped so much, you know, with the toxic positivity things and just like everything, that now they're
when
like,
I think about where you were at with like when I first met you, like when you were like in a boy band relationship, your mentality with boys in general, like,
no, you know what,
it's so the year that NYU Big Dick like broke up with you, like that period of time versus who you are now. I know. What?
You know what's so funny too is me and Andrea, my coach, we were just talking about this the other day. I was sitting down with her at my session, and we're talking, and I was telling her about my like dynamic of big jeans. I was explaining something like
it's so
I was like
healthy. It's like it's not even funny.
I think I was saying to her like something along the lines of like, yeah, I would love to see big jeans and stuff, but like I told him that like I actually really need like my time. Like I gotta see my girls
every
this
time
week,
you text
and I need
me that
to
shit,
edit.
I'm like, cool, Christina, you're better than us. Like, I don't care. I'll show Ryan, and she's like, great, Christina, you're healthy.
Right.
Like, we're happy for you. Like,
no, but like I'll say that I remember I was like telling her about it, and then I like stopped my sentence, and she's like silent for like a few seconds, and then she goes, A, you are so ready to coach, and B, the woman that you are now versus when we first started working together, she's like, I am. You were so
sobbing over
proud
me
of
that
you.
one time.
Who? Oh, Mr. St. P.
Years, like, what was wrong with you? And as your friend, I was just like,
no, like,
what am I supposed to even do here? Like, I can't even help you, bruh. Like,
no, that shit was mental. But like,
fucking mental.
yeah, it is like, it's just, so wild, like, you know, getting like that outside help and everything, but also obviously talking to your friends and talking to like, I don't, if personally, like if you have close family that you could talk to about all this stuff, obviously, and like you're comfortable talking to your family, great. I have actually learned over time that, and I don't think this is a toxic positivity thing at all. It's just personally, I don't like, I talk to my parents about everything except my super
Everyone's
deep
gonna
things.
agree with what you're about to say.
Yeah. I talk to them about most things except my super deep things. I talk to just a life coach.
Actually, I talked to my parents are a little different though. My mom's like,
Yes.
my mom is a therapist, not really,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
like
yeah,
she
yeah,
might
yeah.
as well be.
Basically.
She works in education, and so she's like so about mental health and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I will say, when it comes to my mom, I don't.
Wait, I'm going to cut you off for a sec. Just for perspective, the first ever time I met Lily's mother was during COVID
She'll fix you.
like outside at this like shit ass Irish pub that we were taking all these shots, and I was like 2 months out of my 4-year relationship with boy band,
And she fixed you.
she literally was like, the deepest conversation was like, oh my god, so nice to meet you.
I mean, all her friends are
Tell
like
me
life
everything.
coaches and like all have PhD. Like she's just
No,
like around
like-
the most highly educated women you
Yeah.
could ever think of. So
No,
she's a boss.
oh,
but
love
I
you,
can
Sandy.
tell my parents about everything except for when it comes to like my relationship. Because
You know what I'm thinking about? I'm like, you look like a girl that would have a mom named Sandy.
period.
Like you do. Sandy and Craig.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, that's
Love
fair.
it. So fair.
I can see that. But
Like if I never met you before and you were like, my mom's name is Sandy, I'd be like, yeah,
that sounds right.
that sounds about right.
And if you told me your mom's name was Deb, I'd say, yep,
Deb,
from Long Island, baby.
yep, Debbie from Long Island.
Period. But
Anyways, what were you
I
saying?
don't like with your friends. It's not good to do this, but I actually think it's just fine to do it with your parents. I don't like to tell my mom the bad stuff about. Ironically, though, whenever I do, she could give a fuck. Like,
Yeah,
she
yeah,
knows
yeah.
everything David's done, and
Yeah.
she doesn't care at all. She loves him so much.
Yeah,
And like,
I don't tell my parents that only because my parents are like typical, like really hard-headed, like New York Italians
Yeah.
and whatever. So like I tell them like one little tiny like fight or argument I got into
Yeah.
like with a boyfriend, and my dad is like at their door with a
My
fucking
dad's a little more
baseball
like that.
bat. My
Yeah.
mom too. My mom holds grudges. I told my mom.
my mom
if you-
doesn't to a fault. I'm like,
Yeah.
Mom, that's
No,
she's
my
not good.
mom is still, despite like fucking my redhead ex-boyfriend, despite me and this man, my ex, this guy from a long time ago. Okay, I dated him when I was 16 for like 7 months, and he was a huge dick to me and everything during that time, but we were 16.
Like what?
7 months. My mom still holds a grudge on him to this day, and me and him have made amends fully. He's apologized to me. We're actually friends.
No.
Like he's
My
come to
mom
the city to
would
like hang out with
my
me.
exes. My mom would, if she came to New York, she would want to get lunch with my ex.
That's so fucking funny.
There's something wrong with her. Anyway.
Right.
But she'd be
Love.
like, she'd want to do a therapy session with them or something. Like, she's not well. But yeah, I can't tell my mom that deep of stuff
Yeah,
about.
yeah.
She has found out a lot about my current boyfriend. Like, I think I just like accidentally was like, well, I gotta tell you something. But
Yeah,
like,
yeah. Sometimes you just like break.
yeah. And I remember like after when we really broke up that one time,
Yeah.
I had to go home right after. And I remember being like, I could try to hide this. I will not be
Yeah.
able to hide this if my life depended on it. Like, I got in the car at the airport. My mom was like, what happened to you? I was like, oh, fuck. But yeah, I feel like it's okay to do it with your parents, but not as much your friends when it comes to like your relationship and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
But
yeah.
even like, I don't know, there's some stuff with my partner that like, you know, private stuff that like we fought about that has to do with like him, like that I don't share as much. But like when
Yeah,
it has to do with
that's
like
fine.
us, then I will like share
Yeah,
it with my
yeah.
friends.
No, that's fine. Like I said, there's boundaries in a relationship of like what you want to share, what you
Yeah.
don't share, and that's up to you and your partner.
Yeah.
Like, what are you guys like, you know, cool with sharing with your friends and
Mm-hmm.
like, you know, all of that stuff.
Also
But-
helps now that you guys are all such good friends with him that like when I tell you something bad he did, it's never like you and Ryan.
Yeah,
It's
it's like
never
I understand how
him.
he is.
Yes.
So
And-
I'm able to be like, okay, he's doing this because of X, Y, and Z,
yeah.
or like, you know, it's not like if you were just like, oh, like, I don't know, you like said something about him, like he's being mean or something, and then immediately, because I don't know this man at all, I'm like,
No, we all
oh my
know-
God, blah,
Me,
like,
you, and Ryan could write like a psychology book about my man. Like it's
No,
insane.
truly.
We know how his brain works. Like Christina will tell me Lily, in 2 weeks, he's going to do this and say this. And this one.
Yeah.
And honestly, it brings me so much peace because she's never been wrong.
No, I was gonna say Lily sent me this voice memo the other week that, oh my god, ego boost.
Because you made me feel so much, and you have predicted it literally by the day.
Yeah.
Like he moves out in 2 days. It's all going exactly how you said it was going to go.
Literally, I'm like, Lily sent me a voice memo the other day, and she was like, you know, one thing about you is that you're never wrong. And I was like, you know what? I'm never gonna say that. I'm never gonna be like, I'm never wrong, or I told you
Not
so.
anymore,
like,
anyway.
I'm not gonna do. Yeah, I'm not doing that shit anymore. Yeah, sometimes I used to do that in the past, but like, you know, obviously you don't fucking need that. I'm never gonna say that, but like, you should just know.
Yeah,
you should just know.
No, you're right, but you're always right when you're like, Lily, these are the stages. When you get into this type of fight, it's going to take a man a week to get to this point. And then it's going to take him another week to realize that he was wrong. And then after 4 days, he'll be fine.
Yeah.
And then I'll look at the calendar and I'm like, fuck, she was right.
Yeah.
Just date.
No, because men and women just operate so insanely differently. And depending on what the argument is and the situation and blah, blah, blah,
and I'm
what
telling
happens,
you, the month of February is going to go exactly how you told me it was. Me and my boyfriend had a rough.
I can't wait
December.
to be right.
No, we had a rough December. Not that serious, whatever, but we had to kind of after the holidays get back in our groove. We were just fighting for 3 weeks about stupid shit. And then Christina was like, Lily, after the holidays, this is what's gonna happen. And then you guys are moving out on the 1st, and it's gonna take him a week to readjust, but then by Valentine's Day it's gonna be perfect. And I'm like,
yeah, well, I was just like, yeah, just give it you guys are moving out. You have 2 weeks until Valentine's
So
Day.
funny.
You're gonna have a little space and it's gonna be great.
and I was
Yada, yada.
tweaking, and then she sent this voice memo. I've been fine ever since that voice memo.
I don't even know
Because
which one you're talking
That
about.
was weeks ago. And you
Yeah.
were just like, this is what's gonna happen. And I said, yes, okay.
Yes, ma'am.
And then after
That
a week,
is.
I realized it was happening to a T, what you said. And I was like, God damn it. I gave him a
I'm adding this as a fucking testimony on my coaching website.
No, get me on that site.
Life coach and psychic.
No, I'm good. No, I'm serious. If this bitch tells you a man's going to do X, Y, and Z, he going to do it. He's going to do it.
Period. Get me for all your relationship
But you have to
needs.
follow her exact instructions or it won't work.
Right. That's the only.
And
that's the only
I did.
thing. That's the thing. Is you have to take what I have taught you and put it into action to get your desired outcome, and then you will get it. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I was all mysterious for about 2 weeks. It went really well.
Not the mysterious
Anyway.
girl. All right. So, anyways, back on track. We're gonna just speed
Enough
through
about my childhood.
I know,
What the
that
fuck?
was we
What
just
just
took
happened?
we took a 2 second break and whatnot to switch the battery on the camera, and Lily's like, "This is a really good episode." I was just about to say
I
that.
was not planning on
No,
any of that.
I like this.
But as you started going, I was like,
Yeah.
wait, I'm prideful. Wait, I do that too.
No, it's
wait.
literally a prideful ego thing. It's an ego driven
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
But anyways, so let me see. Some things basically that would indicate that you have toxic positivity and things that you might be doing is that you are reciting positive quotes about hard situations. Somebody could be oh, my what's it called? They could be oh, my boyfriend of 10 years just dumped me, and you're like, well, onward and up. And it's you don't do that right away, or
No.
oh my god, I don't know, my dog just died.
I
And it's
noticed that people love when you're remember when I came to you and Hannah about David moving out?
Yes.
And I remember you and Ryan both were this is the healthy thing, the right thing, blah, blah. And I was
Yeah.
no, can one of you just say that you feel bad for me?
yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
Sometimes you just kind of
Yeah.
want that. And I've been trying to do that with people. When they tell me something, I'm like, you know what? That just sucks. But you know what you could do? I'll just kind of say that first because it just validates people. when
Yeah,
you
of
say
course.
That, you know what I mean?
Yeah, if you just dive in, you start oh my god, well look on the brighter side of things.
Yeah.
I think I actually wrote
It's
down
good
some
to be
quotes.
positive,
just
but-
stay positive. Happiness is a choice.
Yeah,
look
yeah.
on the bright side.
Yeah.
And it's sometimes he's just obviously those are good things and whatever, but that's just not what you need sometimes.
Yeah.
You know? So yeah, the positive quotes about situations, hiding your emotions and ignoring your problems. Of course, we discussed this. Dismissing other people's negative feelings. If this is the kind of the other way around. If your friend comes to you and they're telling you about oh my god, I'm just really going through it because of blah, 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 whatever. And you just kind of, you're not actually trying to help them or talk to them. You're just well, it all gets better in the end anyways.
Yeah.
So, and then you just ignore what they say. It's huh?
No, I hate the friends that just come at you with the quoted advice that's
Yeah.
like honestly, my partner's guilty for this. I'll come to him for things and he'll be like, you know, you choose how you you choose how you respond to things, or you choose how you react to things. And I'm like, babe, no, like
It's
this
not that
shitty thing
easy.
just happened to me. I'm obviously going to be upset about it. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I'm not just going to be like, oh, wow.
No, exactly.
Sorry,
You
like-
can't just like, you know,
Of course
obviously
you choose how you
yeah,
deal with
like
things, but at the
these
same time.
positive quotes, like they're quotes for like a reason, you know, and
Yeah.
whatnot. But you know, yeah, it's not just that black and white.
No, it's
like,
not.
You know,
like you're allowed, like something happens and it makes you feel
yeah,
a
like
type
this
of way.
one that I wrote down, this quote, happiness is a choice. Like that's like, you know, going to somebody that's like, you know, fucking down bad and sad and being like, well, you could just choose to be happy.
fuck up.
Like it doesn't just work like that. Like you can't do that. So this is like telling yourself these things and then also telling other people, indication of toxic positivity.
I think the word, like a good word to just remember is to always validate people.
Validation,
Like, always
yeah.
validate someone's feeling, whether you think they're being, it's your annoying friend who's complaining about the same guy over and over
Yeah.
again. Like no matter what, validate them and then say whatever positive shit you want to say.
No,
Like,
exactly.
yeah. It just
You,
makes
like,
it
totally
makes them
get how you're
listen more.
feeling. Yeah.
Even if you don't agree. Like it just
Yeah,
always
of
will make the
course.
person like listen more.
And it's like so obvious when somebody's like just like you said, like people that are just feeding you like generic like advice, whatever. And I get that honestly too. If you are the friend that's just like not good at giving advice, or you are not the friend that has like the energy to like, you know, say like this, that, and the next thing, then I would rather just say that shit and be like, honestly, that's really shitty. If I'm being totally honest, I don't really know how I can help you.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not the person for that. You know?
Yeah, and
Just
that's why I
from
go to
there.
my, like, I mostly would go to my girls for things. Like, that's why
Yeah.
I don't go to my partner for certain things, because I know he's going to come at me with, like,
I remember in like 2020 when I was going through my breakup, I went to go talk to my friend Luke, who's one of my absolute best friends. I love him, but like somehow like I ended up just like opening up to him about like things, and I was expecting like a better response, and he was like, he like Snapchatted me and was like, yeah, that's tough. That was like it. And then I was like, I forgot for a sec that I was talking to a man. It was
but then
so
it's like,
funny.
it's so random, because then some men pop the fuck off.
Yeah.
Like, I'll reach out to like my hometown friend and he'll like send me a novel. I'm like, thank you. And then I'll send it to another guy and he's like, sucks.
Yeah,
I'm
no.
like, okay, never mind.
It depends.
Go to the girls.
No, literally back to the girls.
Yeah.
Also, why I saw this on this like website, toxic positivity versus optimism. This quote says, people going through trauma don't need to be told to stay positive or feel that they're being judged for not maintaining a sunny outlook. So, you know, there's obviously a line between, you know, optimism and toxic positivity. Toxic positivity is like you're just straight up ignoring the bad in your life and just acting like everything's all good. Optimism is you recognizing that maybe things are shitty or you're going through a negative situation, but you're like, all right, it's okay. Like, I'm going to get through this thing and, you know, there's going to be a brighter future and everything. Like, you're still acknowledging the feeling. So, you know, being optimistic is a great thing. The toxic positivity, not so much, because you're just flat out ignoring how you feel.
Yeah, it's like if you go through a breakup, you can ignore how you feel and sleep with a bunch of people right away. Or the optimistic route is to be like, I'm going to work on myself.
Yeah.
I'm going to work out. I'm going to blah, blah, blah. Like, cry, feel the feelings, but know that there's, you know, a chance for you to like work on yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. So why toxic positivity is quote unquote so toxic, as if we didn't already go over it. Big thing, number one, it shames people.
Number one.
Yeah, it shames people. There's guilt attached to it. You're avoiding crucial human emotions. And also, this one, it prevents growth, which is so true, because if you're not, you know, able to talk about your emotions and get things out and work through them, then you will never know how to cope with those emotions.
Yeah.
And then that could lead to more problems down the line of you just not, you know, you bottling things up and exploding and not knowing, like,
deal with things as they happen.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, it catches up. And it's like, breakups, are the one that we keep saying, but like grieving is another example. Like, a lot of people, like, it's a common thing to lose someone and then they're just like, a lot of people move on right away, and then years later, this happened to a good friend of mine. She like lost her brother, went to school the next day, no problem, all good, like carried on.
And then all of a
5
sudden,
years later, she is a train wreck now, and it like you have to deal with things as they come, because if you don't, like,
you know what that kind of reminds me of? This is like so random, but you remember the Dolan twins?
Yes,
You remember they did like that like documentary or docuseries or whatever it was with Shane Dawson, and in it they like finally decided to like take a break from YouTube because they like were just pumping out content and working, and it was almost like a distraction from their dad's death, and they didn't even process the death.
Yeah.
So like a year later, they finally like took the time off to like really like process and grieve and like do that for themselves. So yeah, it kind of reminds me of that.
They probably had to have lost him at a young age.
I think they were in their early 20s.
Oh, wow.
Maybe teens. I'm not sure.
That kinda,
don't quote me on that. I know there's probably a lot of fans of them.
I lost my best friend when I was 17. 3 years later, I got diagnosed with PTSD because I never, ever dealt with it at the time. I literally just, I was very sad, but I like never went to therapy or anything.
Yeah.
Like, nothing. So it just like catches up to you. And the older you get, you learn that. And it's just best to just deal with things as they come. Like it really is.
It really is.
Take the time you need.
So anyways, kind of just wrap this up. We went over like all the toxic positivity things, how to like, kind of like deal with and so, just be realistic about how you feel, be open about how you feel, even if it's just with yourself, if you're, obviously you don't have to just be putting on this like facade to other people. You put on the mask to yourself. So, be realistic, take it off, be real about how you feel, get it all out, and put your feelings into words. That's another little like tip and whatnot. Don't just be like, not talking about it or, just constantly being happy and whatever. If you're feeling upset, put it into words for yourself. I am feeling upset because of this thing.
Yep.
And this is what I'm going to do to improve. So yeah, I feel like this was a really good episode. I'm really happy.
There's some
with
avoidant
this.
ass people right now that are like, damn.
Yeah, big sign of toxic positivity, avoidant people. So
yeah, I feel like when you hear the term toxic positivity, you're kind of thinking of that person that like says, like, just stay positive, blah, blah, blah. But also it brings to mind like, I know someone that's just like super avoidant. Like she's not like a very positive person, but she's so fucking avoidant.
Yeah.
And that's just like another way of just being like, oh, it's fine, under the rug. Like whatever. You might not be like that corny positive person, but so many people are so avoidant.
Yeah.
Like,
no,
crazy.
there's the side of it that's exactly that. Like just being overtly positive. Like, oh my God, it's fine. Everything's good. It'll work itself out. And then like you said, the avoidant person that's just kind of like, like whatever.
But those elephants in the room like fucking catch up to you.
Yeah.
Like you have to deal with things.
Yeah, you gotta deal with them as they come up. But yeah. All right, guys. Well, that's it for this episode because as you guys know, we announced in the last episode, no more gin and tips. We're going to bring back a version of it probably in season 3. But we'll tell you guys all about that. Me and Lily, big, just all of a sudden, like mind blown, like, that like meme of that guy going, yeah. Like that was like us last week with like how we want season 3 to go. So super hyped about that. But on that note, we're going to wrap this up. Perfect timing. It is 6:58. I said I needed to be done by 7 o'clock.
I'm impressed.
Need to be out the door by 7:10.
Thank God I came early.
Period. Yeah, no, this was great. But all right, we love you guys. Make sure to go. What? Oh yeah, go follow us.
Like,
I forgot it. Go follow us on our social media at Gin Toxic Podcast on Twitter _X, TikTok, and Instagram. I hate saying X, but I'm gonna say it now. I'm gonna do it. So, okay, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, X, whatever.
Hello?
I don't fucking care. At Gin Toxic Podcast. If you find us on anything, we're at Gin Toxic Podcast. FYI, we also, if you guys are watching this on YouTube, you already know that. But if you're listening on Spotify and stuff, we did switch our channels back to the old Gin and Toxic channel. So make sure to go subscribe to that. Don't DM us submissions for gin and tips, because we're over that.
Yeah, it's done.
So that's done with. You can follow us on our personal social media accounts. They are always linked below. And we will see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Technically, Gin and Tips is now just going to be like your life coaching service.
Yeah.